back, everybody. Just gonna go and do another episode, but you wouldn't believe it. Mrs. Cooper, she's a little hurt, actually. The clutch just went in her. And guess what? I have to get now the tow truck to tow Mrs. Cooper into Mini Cooper Victoria. So this is just the beginning of a wonderful journey. Welcome back to another episode of Travel with Rocky. Me and Mrs. Cooper, we didn't have to travel very far this week because it has been raining so hard here on the island the last 5 days, and I was planning on making an episode. Oh, it's going to be amazing today, so stay tuned. Woo! Hey, welcome back to another Adventures with Travels with Rocky. This weekend is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to try to do 3 nights and 4 days, but depending on how much food I have, we'll see. So I'm just here at Mrs. Cooper, just going to pack in and then head up a little bit up the trail. It was an amazing drive to get out here today, but I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned.
Like all great things, they never last for long. But it's hard to believe that me and Mrs. Cooper had a phenomenal relationship for 18 years. I could take her almost anywhere. It's really hard to believe how much I was able to fit in Mrs. Cooper over the years. Going out camping with a full car. I can even remember a time when the boys were in hockey that we had them full hockey bags in the back of Mrs. Cooper and a full goalie equipment on top of Mrs. Cooper, and away we went to the games. Wow, it was amazing what Mrs. Cooper could do. You can ask my boys anytime the journeys we have enjoyed with Mrs. Cooper.
Hey, got Mrs. Cooper packed up here, ready to go for another great journey with Travel with Rocky.
As they grew older, I introduced the camping. So can you imagine 2 young teenagers, full camping gear, and heading into the backcountry? She has just been an incredible vehicle for me. The one thing that I appreciated the most about Mrs. Cooper, no matter how many times I had to open and close the doors.
Welcome back, guys. It's a sure pleasure to have you today.
She always seemed to be patient and willing to keep on shining as she always has.
Welcome back to another episode of Travel with Rocky. It's a pleasure to have you here today. It was actually
I could take Mrs. Cooper almost anywhere. On-road, off-road, even put 4x4 trucks to shame. It was amazing where she could go and what she could do.
You don't know how exciting it is to get this big backpack on the front. Don't understand why you're still sitting there. I think you should hop in and come on to this great adventure with me. You wouldn't believe it. I was going to go out and do this wonderful journey, and Mrs. Cooper's clutch just went. And guess what? Now she needs a tow.
As all good things need to come to an end, this day has come for Mrs. Cooper.
Well, this is a true story. She's finally going to retire and go to car heaven. So yes, indeed. Let's say goodbye to Mrs. Cooper. She put on a lot of good miles for me over the years.
Why don't you leave a comment below telling me what kind of vehicle I should get into on the next journey of my life? truly thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Travel with Rocky. As always, it's been a pleasure to bring this episode to you. Remember to keep on breathing and believing in the great outdoors.